Hello, Dr. Jacobson. I did my service learning hour at Abaya Jed School on October 25th, 2012 from 8:30 to 9:30. This is the kindergarten classroom that I have participated in the past for my service learning project. While I was there, I was interacting within journal time. The children got the option for their sentence to be I like blank. So, for example, the kids could say, I like ice cream, I like my dog, I like my grandpa. But the point is that they're putting it in their journal and they're given I like and then the blank on the journal and they're supposed to write it in. And along with that, they have to fill in pictures and labels in 5 different colors. In the classroom, the tables are set up in the middle of the classroom, and each student sits in boy-girl order. I went around the classroom while everyone was participating within their journals, seeing if anybody needed help. As soon as I walked by Xavier, he put his hand up and said that he needed help with spelling the word grandpa. I helped him, and then when he was finished with his word, he immediately said, "Okay, am I done? Can I be done? Can I go grab a book and read?" And I said, "Oh, Xavier," I encouraged him because he still had to draw pictures and have at least 5 labels and 5 colors, and he didn't have any of that. So I went ahead and told him, after you get your pictures and your colors, of course you can go grab a book, but you need to finish the assignment. And it's only been like 10 minutes into the assignment. So right after I left him, the next little boy, Kyler, raised his hand, and I went over there, and he asked if he could be finished with his sentence because he did his word. And so I said, how many labels do you have here? It only looks like you have 2. You need to have 5 labels and 5 colors. And so then after that, it became like a chain reaction to several of the boys and then going on to the girls. But it was immediately like this. They thought that the second that they got their word, just because the first student had got his work done and asked, that they would all be able to. So I had to keep on going around and counting pictures and counting colors and making sure that everybody was completely proceeding within this project. There was a new boy in the classroom, and his name's Gabriel. He came up to me and said that he was hungry because he didn't get breakfast. So I went over to Miss Murphy and told her, and she went ahead and gave him a juice box with a snack. After Gabriel finished his snack, he was then over by the bookshelf playing with the puppets. So Miss Murphy came over and she told me to go tell him he needed to work on his journal and to encourage him to get this assignment done, and that since he's new, he's going to be struggling a lot more with the things that they do in the classroom, and to try to help him get through his first journal time experience. I went over to help him, and he said he didn't want to do in his journal and that he wanted to play. So he was being extremely defiant for a kindergartner. Most of the other kindergartners in the classroom are very focused on their tasks and listening to you, and they even each other out with, they know when they finish their assignment that afterwards they can be rewarded by going to read a book or going to play with puppets. So I went ahead and told him that he had to finish a sentence and he had to do some coloring, and then after that we could play. And so then he told me that he didn't want to color and that he didn't have to. So I went ahead and went up to Miss Murphy and I told her about his lack of motivation. So she went and moved him. She moved his seat to where now, instead of sitting next to a girl, he sat next to a little boy named Jaden. And so I asked her, I was like, "Oh, why did you do that?" And she said she thinks it will help him do his work and see an example of another student. But in fact, the little girl that he was sitting next to, Lily, always gets all of her work done, and she is always very quiet about it. So I was surprised in her reaction, and I think it was because she wants him to feel more comfortable sitting next to a little boy that he could maybe make friends with, and the little boy could help him with his work and getting it done. So that was for that part. And then for my definition that I am applying to this service learning hour is expectation statuses. Part explanations for gender models of interaction, status expectations, class, race, and gender, performance expectations, anticipated ability to contribute to the group process, and the correlation between male and female. I thought that this definition that I found it offline. I thought it applies to my service learning hour because after one boy expected to be done with his journal, it was all of a sudden like a correlation for everybody, and all of their performance expectations as a group started to come down just to this one student just because he thought he was done. Also, with Gabriel, when he was choosing to misbehave and Miss Murphy thought it would help if he sat next to another little boy instead of a girl, that way he could look to see how the behavior is expected through the boy that he was sitting next to, and how the boy could be a model for what he needs to do in the future to succeed in this class and get through his projects. So, I do think that for the rest of the time that Gabriel was sitting next to Jaden, it did help him. He wasn't really giving me as much of a hard time anymore, and he really did focus. So I think that expectation statuses are applied within not only this situation, but within a lot of situations in a classroom, because teachers expect the students to go around with how each individually they feel, and as well as how they are all going to act together and play off of each other's own actions. So that was my service learning hour. Thank you so much for watching.